following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangy coming to you with a quick review. This is hopefully going to be a brief one. We're just going to take a quick look at one of the more not so sought after core class figures from the Transformers Legacy line. This is core class G2 Megatron. And from what I've seen, I saw him shelf warming for several weeks at Target before I decided to finally get him and add him to my Transformers collection. Make no mistake, this is not a bad Transformers figure, but compared to some of the other core class figures that have been released in the Legacy line, such as from Wave 1, there was Bomb Burst, Core Class Skywarp, and the recently released Wave 3, there was Bomb Burst. Did I just say Bomb Burst for Wave 1? I'm sorry, Iguanus, who was released in Wave 1, along with Core Class Skywarp and also Hot Rod. And then in Wave 2 of the Legacy line, the other core class figure besides G2 Megatron was Shockwave, who was a brand new mold, so Shockwave has been a lot more sought after than this figure is, but I decided what would be the harm in getting this version of Megatron on. So there's some artwork of him in his tank mode. He's packaged in robot mode, and I hate the open window packaging. This side of the box, you've got the poster image for Legacy. On this side, you've got some artwork of core class G2 Megatron in his robot mode. He's firing his fusion cannon and at his enemies. Coming out here at the back of the box, you've got his robot mode and his tank mode. He transforms back and forth between both modes in 12 steps. And yes, this figure is a straight up repaint of the Kingdom core class Megatron figure released last year in 2021. Main difference is that this is him in his Generation 2 colors, unlike core class Kingdom Megatron, who is in his Generation 1 colors. Without further delay, let's get this guy out of his box and take a close look at him in robot mode. Alright, so here is Legacy Core Class G2 Megatron out of his box. And yeah, as I said a moment ago, this is a straight up repaint of Kingdom Core Class G1 Megatron. And so, pretty much when you get this figure, if you have the Kingdom Core Class Megatron figure that was released in the G1 colors, then with this figure here, all you're paying for really is the paint job. But I've always enjoyed G2 Megatron's mostly green with purple camouflage paint job, so it really works on here to distinguish him from Kingdom G1 Megatron. And of course, there's also the fact that G1 Megatron originally he didn't have a tank for an alt mode, but I'm willing to overlook that because, as I've always liked the idea of Megatron having a battle tank for his alt mode. Now that said, unfortunately, core class G2 Megatron here is in robot mode. He's not entirely accurate to how the original G2 Megatron figure looked, and unfortunately, as far as I can tell, you can't really mimic the setup for it. But the way the original G2 Megatron figure was that the fusion cannon, and it's not designed to be detached, but the fusion cannon actually sat here on top of the shoulder, so if you were to try and have the fusion cannon like that, you can kind of fake where it was on the top of his shoulder before. And then if you want to further distinguish them, I have Kingdom Megatron holding his laser gun, but if you wanted to, you can attach it here on the back, and you can have it look like the, as I just drop him to the floor, or on camera. I apologize for that, but one thing you can do to distinguish these two core class Megatron figures from each other is you can have Kingdom Megatron's laser gun sitting there on the back of his shoulder, and that mimics where the barrel of Generation 1 Megatron's gun mode originally sat on the back of his shoulder like that. Because in more recent years, Megatron figures have had tanks or spaceships for vehicle modes. Having the gun barrel on the back of the shoulder is a feature that most Megatron figures have been lacking, but there have been a handful, such as the core class figure here on Megatron, where you can fake it if you're inclined to do so. So that's just another distinction to distinguish both core class Megatron figures from each other, is having it on the back of the shoulder on the G1 version and having it being held in hand by the G2 version. This is just a very, very minor nitpick, but I honestly wish they would have done Kingdom Legacy G2 Core Class Megatron's laser gun. I wish they would have done it the same shade of purple that's used on his fusion cannon, and of course the purple camouflage stripes and his pelvis. I wish they would have done the laser gun purple to not only match the fusion cannon barrel when you transform him into his tank mode, because the laser gun becomes the end tip of the cannon, but the original Generation 2 Core G2 Megatron figure did have a purple colored laser gun, so the Core Class 1 having the laser gun be green, it's not entirely accurate. I apologize for not having it transformed in robot mode, but I do have the Generation Selects Voyager Class G2 Megatron figure that's a repaint of Earthrise Megatron, and it's kind of hard to tell. I'll show it off when I get them in tank mode, but I can't confirm this from the reviews I've seen, people who have reviewed Core Class Megatron before I did it, and all of the purple camouflage splotches, all the purple camouflage paint found here on the Legacy Core Class Megatron figure. These purple splotches, the exact same ones, are found here on the Generation Selects G2 Megatron figure. They're all in the exact same spot. Like, for instance, here's the purple splotch on the chest, and here it is on Generation Selects Voyager Class Megatron, so they're almost the same. Aim on them. Kind of hard to tell if I rotate the tank cannon out of the way. Hopefully I can kind of show it off, but if I look at the purple splotch here on this leg, the Legacy Core Class figure, again, you have the same shaped splotch on the leg of the Generation Selects Voyager Class Megatron on figure, and then same thing with this splotch on the leg right here. Here it is on Legacy Core Class, and here it is on Generation 2 New Megatron. If I okay, there we go. I get the tank can. If I point the cannon out that way, you can see here exact same shaped splotches. So yeah, just like the Kingdom Core Class Megatron compared to Earthrise Megatron, the Legacy G2 Core Class Megatron figure, comparing it to the Generation Selects Voyager Class version of G2 Megatron. This literally is a miniaturized version of this Voyager Class figure that was released back in 2020, and even the single G2 Decepticon faction symbol right here on the front of the tank treads. It's in the purple. That's the only purple camouflage spot that's different, is the one behind the faction symbol, and I'm noticing right now that he's out of the box, that unfortunately there is a tiny bit of purple paint that splotched down out at the factory onto Megatron's tread. And so that is a tad disappointing to see, but maybe I can scrape it off, but I don't want to try. Because I don't know if it's going to be able to peel off the plastic right away. Most paint is designed to permanently stick to the surface of a Transformers figure once it's applied. Alright, so the video's gone on much longer than I wanted to. I realized I had a lot more to say about this figure than I originally thought I was. So without further delay, let's get this guy transformed into his tank mode and wrap up the review. Alright, so here's Legacy G2 Core Class Megatron in his tank mode. Again, it's the same as Kingdom Core Class G1 Megatron. The only difference is the paint job. It's got the G2 Decepticon logo on there. Here, the laser gun becomes the front of the cannon for tank mode, and again, that's why I said in robot mode that I would have preferred if it had been purple, so it could match up with the fusion cannon, and also because the original G2 Megatron an action figure came with a purple laser gun, not a green one that matched the neon green that he's mostly made of. But yeah, it is what it is. And the tank turret does have the potential to spin around 360 degrees, but the way the laser gun is positioned, along with the robot mode feet sticking up on the back, the laser gun rams into it. So even though the turret has the potential to spin 360 degrees, it's hindered by the robot mode feet there. For a size comparison, here it is with Kingdom Core Class G1 Megatron. Again, the only difference between these two figures is the paint job. G2 Megatron, even though in real life military tanks don't paint purple camouflage splotches or blots on their tanks, he does look more like an actual real life military tank would, with a mostly green paint job compared to G1 Megatron. And I honestly haven't known of any. I have seen a couple of photos of tanks that were entirely gray, but not ones that were half gray, half black like this. So yeah, there's the fact that the G2 version of Megatron is more of a robot in disguise for at least having a green military tank. And for one last size comparison, again, I apologize for not having it transformed into robot mode, but here's Core Class, Legacy Core Class Megatron compared to the Generation 6 Voyager Class as Megatron figure. And again, just like Kingdom Core Class G1 Megatron compared to Earthrise Megatron, comparing Legacy G2 Core Class Megatron with Generation 6 Megatron, this is a miniaturized version of this figure here. The purple camouflage splotches are, almost all of them are the same shape and in the same exact position on the tank mode. One difference is between these two figures is that the purple goes across the front section of the tank on the Core Class figure, while it's three separate paint splotches on the Selects figure. And the splotches on the front of the robot mode are almost identical between the two of them, but on the sides of the tank treads, I do admit that they are different looking splotches there, but I do applaud Hasbro and Takara for trying to make the Legacy Core Class figure be as much of a miniaturized version of the Generation Selects Voyager Class figure as they could. So do I recommend getting the Legacy Core Class G2 Megatron figure and adding it to your collection? Well, here's the thing. This is not a top-of-the-list Legacy Transformers figure to add. I only recommend getting this figure if you get it for the reasons that I did, if you're a fan of the Generation 2 version of Megatron, and if you like the Core Class Kingdom Megatron mold, and also if you're other reasons can include to go completist on the Legacy line, or if you're just a fan of Megatron in general, then this can be a pretty decent standalone figure of Generation 2 through Megatron. And that's pretty much all there's to say about that. So even though this figure isn't on the top of my recommendation list, I do recommend it if you're a fan of Megatron and you enjoy seeing him transforming into a green tank. So, apart from those reasons, the figure can be an easy pass, but overall, I still enjoy adding it to my Transformers collection. Thank you guys all so much for your continued support, and until next time, you got stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, Transform Out Loud. Goodbye, everyone.